Welcome, brave souls, to a realm where shadows whisper secrets too vile for the light. I'm here to unravel tales so chilling that your skin will crawl long after the silence falls. Help me reach my first 1,000 subscribers, hit that button now, and together, let's unearth the horrors awaiting us tonight. The cold autumn air bites at my cheeks as I hurry to catch the last bus home after my evening tutoring session. The quiet city streets of Eastern Europe feel even more deserted at this hour. As the bus pulls up, I climb aboard, relieved to see it's mostly empty. I choose a seat near the front, hoping for a quick, uneventful ride. But then, I notice him. A tall man in a long, tattered coat sitting at the back. His eyes lock onto mine with an intensity that sends a shiver down my spine. He never blinks, just watches me with an unsettling focus. My phone, at a mere 1% battery, buzzes weakly in my pocket, a reminder of my dwindling connection to the outside world. Trying to shake off the unease, I glance out the window. In the reflection, the man's silhouette appears disturbingly closer than it should be. My heart races as I realize I'm not just imagining things. This ride home might not be as straightforward as I hoped. As the bus finally reaches my stop, I practically leap off, hoping to shake off the creepy man from the back. The tram station is dimly lit, with flickering streetlights casting eerie shadows around me. I glance back. No sign of him. A wave of relief washes over me as I step onto the tram. But my relief is short-lived. The moment I board, so does he, standing uncomfortably close behind me. My heart sinks as I fumble for my phone, desperate to text a friend for help. The screen flickers to life, but before I can hit send, the battery dies completely, leaving me in silence. I debate getting off early, maybe losing him in the crowd, but the tram is nearly empty, and the thought of being alone with him on the streets sends a chill down my spine. As I stand there, trying to decide, I hear it, a slow, eerie tune. The man is humming, and it stirs something deep within me. It's a melody from my childhood, one I can't quite place, but it fills me with a sense of dread. I get off the tram, my heart pounding in my chest. The narrow, empty street leading to my apartment complex feels like a maze of shadows. I speed up my walk, hoping to put some distance between me and the man. Glancing back, I see him following, but he keeps just far enough behind that it's almost deniable. Maybe I'm just being paranoid, I think, but the unease grips me tighter. In a desperate move, I turn into an alley shortcut, hoping to disappear from his sight. The darkness envelops me, and for a moment, I think I've lost him. But then, I hear it, footsteps echoing oddly, like there's more than one set following me. My breath catches in my throat, as I realize the sound is getting closer. It's not just him. It feels like the shadows themselves are closing in. Finally, I reach the entrance to my apartment complex, my breath coming in short, frantic gasps. Above me, a single dim bulb flickers, casting eerie shadows on the door. I buzz the intercom, my fingers trembling as I press the button over and over. Just as I hear the lock click, the man steps into the light. He speaks in a friendly voice. "Luca, your mom told me to pick you up." My blood runs cold. My mother never calls me Luca in public. She always uses my nickname. The realization hits me like a punch to the gut. This man knows too much. The door unlocks, and I seize my chance. I dash inside, but not before the man lunges toward me. Adrenaline surges through my veins as I slam the door shut behind me. I don't stop to look back. I just run up the stairs, my heart pounding so hard it feels like it might burst. The man's expression never changed, as if he expected my reaction all along. Back in the safety of my apartment, I tell my mom everything. Her face pales as she listens, and she immediately calls the police. They come quickly, checking the security cameras around our building. But all they find is a shadowy blur, no clear image of the man. It's like he's a ghost, slipping through the cracks of reality. For weeks, I avoid going home alone, always feeling like I'm being watched. The fear lingers, a constant shadow over my life. Then, one late night, as I sit in the living room, the news catches my attention. They're reporting on a man arrested for abducting teens. My heart stops as I see his face. It looks eerily familiar, but different. It's like looking at a distorted reflection of the man who followed me. As I stare at the screen, trying to make sense of it all, I hear it again. The slow, eerie tune from the tram. It's faint, coming from somewhere outside the window. The melody sends shivers down my spine, a haunting reminder that some mysteries might never be fully solved. As I stroll through my quiet suburban neighborhood at dusk, the streetlights flicker to life, casting a soft glow on the pavement. The distant barks of dogs provide a familiar soundtrack to my evening routine. These walks are my escape, a chance to clear my mind after a long day at college. Tonight, as I pass a row of houses, something catches my eye. A car moving unusually slowly beside me. I try to brush it off, thinking it must belong to one of the residents. But when the car pulls up and stops, a knot of unease forms in my stomach. I keep walking, my eyes darting to the driver. He wears a hat that obscures most of his face, but his eyes remain fixed on me, unblinking and intense. A chill runs down my spine as I quicken my pace, hoping to leave the unsettling situation behind. But the car doesn't move, and those eyes continue to follow me into the growing darkness. As the sky turns dark and the street grows dim, the man steps out of his car, his towering figure casting a long shadow over me. I feel a surge of anxiety as he approaches, his presence overwhelming in the near-empty street. He starts an awkward conversation, asking where I'm headed. I keep my answer vague, hoping to end the interaction quickly. But he persists, insisting on giving me a ride. "It's dangerous out here alone," he says, his voice oddly calm, almost rehearsed. My stomach twists at the sound of his voice. I declined his offer, trying to sound firm but polite. However, his tone shifts, becoming more forceful. He questions why I'm walking alone, inching closer with each word. The rehearsed calmness of his voice makes my skin crawl, and I realize I need to get away from him as quickly as possible. My heart races as I sense the danger closing in. I quicken my pace, hoping to put some distance between me and the man, but he matches my speed, his long, deliberate strides, keeping him uncomfortably close. The street is lined with houses, but their curtains are drawn, leaving me with little chance of getting help. Panic surges through me as I realize he's following me. My breath comes in short, sharp gasps, and my mind races for a way out. Then, I spot an open park ahead, a potential escape route. As I glance back, something catches my eye. A glint of metal between his fingers. Is it a knife? The sight sends a fresh wave of fear through me, and I know I need to reach that park as fast as I can. Without hesitation, I dash into the dimly lit park, my breath coming in ragged gasps. I spot an elderly man sitting on a bench and run toward him, my mind racing for a plan. As I reach him, I pretend to be his granddaughter, hoping he'll help me. The man, Mr. Holloway, immediately rises, turning to face my pursuer. He loudly warns the stranger to leave, claiming he has a weapon. The man pauses, his eyes darting between us, then hastily retreats to his car and speeds off. As the car disappears into the night, I catch a glimpse of something that makes my blood run cold. In the passenger seat, I swear I see a second figure, their eyes fixed on me. The realization that I might not have been alone in this ordeal sends a fresh wave of fear through me. As Mr. Holloway walks me home, I thank him for his help, but his face remains serious. He tells me I'm lucky, explaining that he's heard rumors about a suspicious car stalking people in the area. This isn't the first time someone's been followed, he says, urging me to be cautious. His words tighten a knot of dread in my chest. As I walk the rest of the way home alone, the true horror of the situation sinks in. What if they had been waiting for someone weaker, someone less lucky than me? When I finally reach my house, my heart sinks even further. In my mailbox, I find a folded note. With trembling hands, I open it and read the 3 words scribbled in shaky handwriting: "We'll be back." It was a typical late afternoon in our quiet suburban neighborhood when I decided to take my kids, Noah and Emily, to visit their Aunt Karen. The sun was casting long shadows across the front yard as we arrived, and the air was filled with the familiar sounds of kids playing and birds chirping. I felt a sense of peace, not knowing that it would soon be shattered. We were all smiles as we stepped out of the car. Noah, my 2-year-old, was giggling and trying to chase after his 6-year-old sister, Emily. I told Emily to keep an eye on her brother while I quickly ran inside to grab a phone charger. It was just supposed to be a moment, a brief step away. When I came back outside, my heart stopped. Noah was gone. The front yard, which had been filled with laughter just minutes before, was eerily silent. Emily stood by the gate, her eyes wide with confusion and fear. I rushed over, my mind racing with panic. The gate, which I was certain I had locked, was slightly ajar. In that moment, my world turned upside down. My little boy, my precious Noah, had vanished without a trace, and all I could think was, how could this happen in the blink of an eye? How could a quiet afternoon turn into a parent's worst nightmare? My heart was pounding as I frantically searched the front yard, calling out Noah's name. Karen, my sister, joined me, her face etched with worry. We scoured every corner, behind every bush, but there was no sign of my little boy. The quiet neighborhood suddenly felt like a maze, each second stretching into eternity. Emily, standing near the gate, tugged at my sleeve. Her voice was shaky but insistent, as she told me she saw a man with a blue hat near the gate, just before Noah disappeared. My mind raced. Could this stranger have taken my son? I felt a surge of fear and anger, but I had to stay focused. Karen pulled out her phone and called her husband Jack. I could hear the urgency in her voice as she explained what happened. Jack, always quick to act, immediately suspected our reclusive neighbor, Vincent. He had a troubled past, and Jack never trusted him. I remembered the rumors about Vincent, but right now, all I cared about was finding Noah. We expanded our search to the nearby streets, knocking on doors and asking neighbors if they'd seen anything. Every moment without Noah felt like a lifetime. Then, as we turned a corner a block away, my heart sank even further. There, lying on the sidewalk, was Noah's favorite stuffed rabbit. It was a small, tattered thing, but to him, it was the world. Seeing it there, abandoned, made the reality of the situation hit me like a ton of bricks. Panic truly set in. My mind was a whirlwind of fear and desperation. I needed to find my son, and I needed to find him now. Jack's suspicion of Vincent drove him to action. He stormed over to Vincent's small, shadowy house on the corner of our street, his footsteps heavy with urgency. I followed close behind, my heart pounding with a mix of hope and fear. Jack banged on the door, the sound echoing through the quiet neighborhood. There was no answer, just an eerie silence that made my skin crawl. Peering through the window, Jack's eyes widened. Inside, scattered across the floor, were children's toys. It was strange, because Vincent didn't have any kids. My stomach churned at the sight. Why would a man with no children have toys in his home? The thought sent a shiver down my spine. As Jack paced angrily in front of the house, I pulled out my phone and dialed 911. My hands trembled as I explained the situation to the dispatcher. Every second felt like an eternity, and I prayed that the police would arrive soon. While we waited, a neighbor approached us, mentioning that their security camera might have caught something. We rushed over to their house, and there it was, a blurry figure on the footage, carrying something small past their driveway. Could that be Noah? The image was too unclear to be certain, but it was enough to fuel our desperation. Jack's anger grew as we returned to Vincent's house, his pacing becoming more frantic. I stood there, clutching my phone, hoping against hope that the police would find my son and bring him back to me safe and sound. The police finally arrived, their sirens cutting through the tense air. I felt a glimmer of hope as they began their search of the neighborhood. Jack was adamant, insisting that Vincent was the one who took Noah. He paced beside the police car, his frustration palpable. But without solid proof, the officers couldn't force entry into Vincent's house. It was maddening, knowing my son could be so close, yet out of reach. As the search continued, my phone buzzed in my pocket. I pulled it out to see an unknown number flashing on the screen. My heart raced as I answered, hoping for some news about Noah. But all I heard was faint breathing, followed by a chilling whisper, "Too late." The call ended abruptly, leaving me trembling with fear. Who was that? Was it a cruel prank, or did they really have my son? In the midst of the chaos, Emily's eyes were wide, as she told me something that made my blood run cold. She remembered that Noah wasn't crying when he was taken. In fact, he seemed to recognize the man. The realization hit me like a ton of bricks. Could it be someone Noah knew? The thought was both a relief and a new source of terror. Time was slipping away, and every second felt like a race against an unseen enemy. I clung to the hope that the police would find something, anything, to bring my little boy back to me. But the whisper on the phone echoed in my mind, haunting me with the fear that we might indeed be too late. The police extended their search radius, combing through every corner of the neighborhood. But Jack, driven by a mix of desperation and determination, decided to take matters into his own hands. He remembered hearing from local kids about a strange man who had been squatting in an abandoned house on the outskirts of our neighborhood. Without hesitation, he jumped into his car and sped toward the address. As he approached the dilapidated house, a sense of unease washed over him. The place looked forsaken, with overgrown weeds and broken windows. But then, something caught his eye. Movement behind a curtain. His heart raced as he parked the car and approached cautiously. The front door was slightly ajar, which only heightened his suspicion. Stepping inside, Jack was hit with the unmistakable scent of baby powder. It was a strange and unsettling detail in such a neglected place. He called out softly, hoping to hear Noah's voice in response, but there was only silence. Every creak of the old floorboards under his feet made him more anxious. He moved deeper into the house, his eyes scanning every room for any sign of his nephew. The movement he had seen earlier, was it just a trick of the light, or was someone really here? Jack's mind raced with possibilities, but one thing was clear. He needed to find Noah right now. The police arrived at the abandoned house shortly after Jack, their presence a mix of relief and urgency. They entered cautiously, their flashlights cutting through the dim interior. I followed close behind, my heart pounding with a mix of hope and fear. Every step felt like an eternity as we moved through the dusty, neglected rooms. Then, in one of the rooms, we found him. Noah was sitting on the floor, looking small and vulnerable amidst the shadows. My heart swelled with relief at the sight of him, unharmed. But as I rushed to embrace him, I noticed he was clutching a small teddy bear that wasn't his. It was a strange detail, one that sent a shiver down my spine. Where had it come from? I scooped Noah into my arms, tears streaming down my face. He seemed dazed but safe, and that was all that mattered in that moment. The police searched the rest of the house, but there was no sign of the kidnapper. It was as if they had vanished into thin air, leaving behind only questions and a chilling sense of unease. As we left the abandoned house, I held Noah tightly, grateful to have him back but haunted by the mystery of what had happened. The teddy bear he held onto was a silent reminder that, while my son was safe, the nightmare was far from over. Back at home later that night, the relief of having Noah safe in my arms was overwhelming. We were all together again, but the mystery of what had happened still lingered like a dark cloud. Noah was quiet, clinging to the strange teddy bear he'd found in the abandoned house. I couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to this story than we knew. The police had searched the house thoroughly, but they found no fingerprints, no evidence linking Vincent or anyone else to the crime. It was as if the kidnapper had vanished without a trace, leaving us with nothing but unanswered questions. How had Noah ended up in that house? Who was the man Emily saw near the gate? And why did Noah seem to recognize him? As I tucked Noah into bed, I couldn't help but wonder if we'd ever find out the truth. The teddy bear he held onto was a constant reminder of the ordeal we'd been through. Despite the joy of having him back, the fear and uncertainty gnawed at me. We were safe now, but the shadow of that afternoon still loomed large. I knew we'd have to live with the mystery, hoping that someday, somehow, the pieces of the puzzle would come together. Until then, all we could do was hold each other close and be grateful for the precious moments we had. The downtown street is quiet as I walk, the cool night air prickling my skin. My boots tap a steady rhythm on the pavement, the only sound until a figure steps from an alley ahead. He's in a hoodie, his face shadowed, and his voice cuts through the silence, low, gravelly, and unnervingly familiar. "Sarah, you don't remember me, do you?" My stomach twists. I squint at him, searching for something, a feature, a hint, but his face is a void in my memory. "No," I mutter, brushing past him toward the convenience store's glowing sign. His words linger like a splinter in my mind. How does he know my name? I don't look back, but I feel his stare boring into me as I push through the door. Inside the store, I drift toward the tea aisle, my fingers brushing the boxes as I try to calm myself. My thoughts churn. Who was he? Why me? And I steal a glance at the glass door. He's still there, a silhouette against the streetlight, hands in his pockets. His stillness unnerves me more than if he'd moved. Is he waiting, watching? The air feels too thick, pressing against my chest. The cashier, a wiry woman with sharp eyes, catches me staring. "You okay, Han?" she asks, her tone clipped but kind. I force a nod, but my gaze flicks back to him. She follows my look, frowning. "Want me to call someone?" I shake my head, clutching the tea like a lifeline. Just walk me to my car? She agrees, and I focus on her steady steps, trying to ignore the shadow that hasn't budged. I linger near the frozen food, the hum of the freezers buzzing in my ears. I reach for a meal, and then it hits, a memory so sharp it steals my breath. A car crash years ago, tires screaming, glass exploding across the road, and a man in the other car, his face bloodied and twisted in anguish. I see him now, clear as day, and my hand freezes midair. It's him, the man outside. The door chimes, snapping me back. He's inside now, moving down the aisle with slow, deliberate steps. My pulse hammers in my throat as our eyes meet for a fleeting second. His are dark, hollow, accusing. The meal slips from my hand, thudding to the floor. He doesn't stop, just keeps coming, and I back away, the cold air biting at my neck. At the checkout, I fumble with my wallet, the cashier's chatter, a dull hum. He stopped halfway down the aisle, leaning against a shelf, his hoodie casting jagged shadows across his face. He doesn't speak, doesn't move closer, but his presence is a weight I can't shake. Those eyes, did they always hold that edge of rage? I wonder if he's been waiting all these years, nursing a grudge from that night on the road. My keys bite into my palm as I grip them, the pain grounding me. "You sure you're okay?" the cashier asks again, louder this time, eyeing him over my shoulder. I nod too quickly, shoving the tea into my bag. I need to get out, to breathe, to escape the question clawing at me. Does he want me to pay for what happened? His silence feels like a promise, and I can't wait to find out what it means. The parking lot is a maze of flickering light and shadow as I step outside. My car's just ahead, but a quick glance at a nearby window stops me cold, his reflection moving fast, hoodie tight around his face. He's coming. Adrenaline floods me, sharp and electric. I sprint, keys jangling, and wrench the door open just as his footsteps crunch behind me. I dive inside, slamming the lock down. His hand slaps the window, a dull thud that makes me flinch. Through the glass, his stare is wild, unblinking, and I choke on a scream. I throw the car into reverse, tires shrieking as I peel out. In the rear view, he's a shrinking figure under the streetlight, but my hands tremble on the wheel. I don't know where I'm going. Just away, as fast as I can, praying the past stays behind me.